So line yourself up along the back of your mat with your hips stacked, your legs straight, your feet forward into the opposite corner of the mat. You can have your hand down in front of you for stability and your head either resting on your upper arm or on your hand up on your elbow. Think long through the body and toned through the waist, so you've got some air between your waist and the mat. So the first one we're going to do is simple kicks forward and back. What you want to do is point the toe, lift the leg up to hip height, then pulse forward, 1, 2, and back, pulse, pulse. Come wider if you need with the bottom leg to stay stable. And back, pulse, pulse. I'm just going to do 2 more. So the pulse at each end kicks into the abs at the front and all the little hip muscles at the back. Last one. And back, pulse, pulse, and down. Now up and down just as high as you can without the hip rocking around. So toe points up, then heel comes down first. Toe points to go up, heel to come down. 2 more. Toe points up, keep that hip upright, heel comes down. 1 more. Toe points up and heel comes down. Great. Now we're going to go into clam to activate all of the underused little muscles in the glutes. So bend your knees, have your feet in line with the back of your bum. Keep that top hip upright, feet together and rotate the top leg open. So keep that hip urging forward and drop it down with control. We're going to go to 8. Keep the feet glued together, the hip glued upright. All of the movement should be concentrated deep in the hip and the glute. That's halfway. Only open as far as it's the glute doing the work. So even if you're only opening a few inches, that's absolutely fine. It's all about where the work is coming from and how stable that top hip is staying. Last one. Now legs back out straight for baby circles. Point the toe, reach the leg long and tiny saucer-sized circles. Brush the heels as you pass. We're going to go to 8 each way. Keep the top of the foot rotated towards the ceiling and keep that circle as round as you can. And reverse it. So control, precision, length through the leg. 3, 2, 1. Now 3 of the bigger ones. Pelvis steady, reach long through the leg, round out that circle in your hip. Fight for it to stay circular as the leg comes behind you. We're just going to do 3 each way. Really focus as the leg comes behind you to make sure you're rounding out that circle. And with control, reverse it. Keep that leg as long as you can, reaching out of your hip. Keep the circle as perfect as you can. Control, precision, length through the leg. And last one. And rest. So this one's a real favourite, developing finer control of the leg. It's called hot potato. Let me demo. So long poker straight leg, heel pushing away, leg comes up and then comes to the front, tap, 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 and then up to the back, tap, 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 and back up. Okay, so we're going to go from 1 to 3 and then back down again. So up to the front, tap, up, behind, tap, up to the front, tap, tap, up, behind, tap, tap, up to the front, tap, 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 up, behind, 1, 2, 3, up to 2, 1, 2, up to 2, 1, 2, up, 1 to the front, up, 1 to the back, and rest. So with your leg totally straight, all the control happening in your hip. So swing your feet back again now for clam for another set of 8. Feet together and open. So keeping those heels together, keeping those hips stacked, keeping that top hip urging forward. Feel the work into the little muscles of the glute. We're going to 8. That's halfway there. I know you can really feel it. And 3, 2, 1. So you should be able to feel that quite intensely in the glute. So don't worry, we'll loosen it off now. Stretchy donkey kicks. So bring the knee towards the nose and kick the heel long, slightly behind you. So this is about reaching long and slightly back, not about kicking up behind you. So not about lifting that leg too far. So if you were on the horse, you'd be pushing your heel towards their hock. So in towards the nose and reaching that heel, pushing the heel away long, lengthening through the back of the leg and feeling the length and the stretch out through the hip all the way down the back of the leg. 2 more. Last one. And rest. So that side's cooked, so we can now scoot round to do the same series on the other side. So line yourself up along the back of the mat, hips stacked, long legs, feet slightly forward, staying toned through the waist. So the forward and back kicks. Point the toe, lift to hip height, and then pulse forward, 1, 2, and back. Pulse, pulse. You can stabilise yourself a bit wider with that lower leg if you need. And back, pulse, pulse. So keeping the hips completely still. All of the work is in the hip rather than the hip sort of rolling through the waist. And making sure you do activate the abs here at the front with this pulse, and then the hip muscles and glute muscles at the back and back down. Up and down, so toe points to come up, heel comes down first. Toe points to come up, heel comes down first. Only as high as you can keep control of the hips. Last one. And rest. So bring your feet back for clam to switch on all those little muscles in the glutes. Bend your knees, feet in line with your bum, hips stacked. Feet together and the top leg opens. Keep the hip urging forward. Make sure your lower back down with control. We're going to 8. Keep those feet glued. Really take your time with this. Keep the hip glued forward. This is halfway. All the movement concentrated deep in the hip and the glute. And 5. And 6. Keep that hip stable. 7. Last one. And 8. So legs back out straight for baby circles. So toe pointed, long leg, tiny saucer-sized circles with your toe. Brush the heels as you pass. Try and make that as circular and as round as possible. 1 more. And reverse it. Keeping the circle round, keeping control. Halfway. Now 3 of the bigger ones. So keep the pelvis steady. Keep that circle nice and round, especially as you come behind you. All of the movement is in the hip. Keep that leg poker straight. Last one. And reverse it. So supporting the weight of that leg through all the little muscles in the hip. Last one. And rest. Hot potato. So we're going from 1 to 3 and back down again. So long straight leg, heel pushing away. First we come up and then to the front, tap 1, to the back, tap 1, to the front, 1, 2, to the back, 1, 2, to the front, 1, 2, 3, to the back, 1, 2, 3, to the front, 1, 2, to the back, 1, 2, to the front, 1, to the back, 1, and rest. And so swing your feet back for the last set of clam. Feet together, hips stacked and open. Keep the heels together, keep the hips upright. Keep control of that movement on the way down as well as on the way up. Halfway. Keep the heels together, keep the toes together, keep that hip honest. 2 more. And last one. Brilliant, well done. So good for your symmetry and control in the saddle. Loosen it off by pulling it into the nose and donkey kicking back. So pull it forward into the nose and then push the heel away, lengthening through the leg into the nose, and really reach that leg as far out of that hip socket as you can. 3 more. Reach, reach, reach. Reach, reach, reach. Last one. These feel great after all of that contraction work into the glutes. Brilliant. Well done. Fab. So just come up to sitting so we can let those glute and thigh muscles chill out a little bit with a bit of a froggy stretch. So soles together, knees open, let your legs fall open and let your weight come forward a little. You're not straining here, you're just letting your weight allow those legs to drop open, and take a few deep breaths. So these are tough when you start, but side leg exercises are seriously good for what we need in the saddle. We need our legs to move in onto the horse with control and off the horse with control. We generally need that so much more than the forward back movement that you get with stuff like squats. So focused work here makes a whole world of difference to your riding.